back to 757 Field Goals. And it's show number 4. I'm Antoine Corbin. I got my co-host,
Jamaar Hawkins, I-64 Sports.
All right. So here we go. I think this is a good time as any, Jamaar, to talk about upset week in the beach.
Oh, yeah. Well, some people say there's no such thing as upsets.
What?
But not on this show.
What? Yes, and like I said, the beach is always tough. You know, I lived in that arena and world for 4 years. You know, as a coach, and I've said it's always tough. You know, they beat up on each other. Things happen that you don't think are going to happen, and it just that's what happened this week.
So what we had this past week, what was the upset?
Oh man, I think I heard a report. It was like for 10 years straight. Bayside had beat Kellum, and Kellum came out with a win this week.
Nice. What was the score? You remember?
Nah. It's one of those. It's one of those things. Kellum doesn't play a traditional. I like to say a beach offense. Spread offense. That's the wave right now. So it's one of those teams that's hard to defend. As far as your prep. If you got 4 days of prep time. And you're used to your offense being a spread, so your defense kind of see that every day to go in there, and you got wing and you got motion and you got all that crazy stuff going on to be prepared. But normally the bigger, stronger beach schools normally beat Kellum.
Right.
But Kellum's always hanging around. It's always a different kind of game. It's a different kind of feel.
Yeah, but like you said, generally the team with the most athletes are going to win on a high school level.
Right.
But you do get those Citadel moments, where it's tough to defend those.
We say Appalachian State.
Right. You do get those upsets where, like you say, it's tough to defend a offensive system that you don't see a lot. So
and then
good win for Kellum.
Yeah, and then I told you, kind of, this weekend, we saw each other in passing, text and stuff like that. I said, I can't wait to see your top 5 this week because Ocean Lakes lost to PA.
Right.
So, and again, I think I hit on it last week. We both picked Ocean Lakes, but I said, if they let that speed get loose over there, it's gonna be some problems. I mean, those I'm hearing that from coaches that I haven't seen PA live with the pads on, so. But I'm hearing from coaches that those guys are fast. So if you don't have that foot speed, you let those guys get loose.
Right.
Woo, it's a long night for you, especially if you can't come back on your side of the ball with that same kind of foot speed.
What's that? 3 in a row for PA? Is that 3 in a row? 2 in a row?
2, I think. Yeah,
2 in a row.
2 in a row, I think.
Yeah. So good. That's another good win.
And that was an overtime. I did hear there was a little bit of controversy on the overtime win. Down at the goal line, but like I said, I mean, the 29-28, I think was that final score, but it's a win in the book for them.
Oh yeah.
So
what does this put Ocean Lakes now?
You're looking at a loss in the beach. They did beat Cox. Still got Moore on their schedule. Still got Salem on the schedule.
Right.
They're D6.
Right.
So, the PowerPoint's going to take a hit, once the PowerPoint's calculated and stuff like that. So, I think right now you're looking at, Salem at the top of the beach. Ocean Lake's kind of probably pretty much at 2, then you got, Cox and Lansdowne kind of neck and neck. And then you're going to see the PA, because they got a couple of key games left on their schedule.
And they already got Salem out of the way.
Right.
They got Salem out of the way.
So, I think, a couple key games, I think just gives them some momentum going in there into the rest of their schedule. So, yeah, I'm looking at the rest of the beach schedule as, key.
You think this a year, like we'll see a 2-loss, 3-loss team win the beach?
2 or 3 loss?
Maybe not 3 loss, but definitely at least a loss. You at least see every team with a loss this year.
No,
you think so?
No.
So you think Salem's gonna go undefeated?
Yeah. I think right now, looking at what the schedule is, it's kind of hard for me to kind of pick against them with what we're seeing right now on the field. But again, you got to play the game. We both pick Ocean Lakes to beat PA. Right. They took a loss. So anything can happen. But if you talk about a 1-loss team winning the beach, of course, you know, it could happen because, you know, everybody can't be undefeated right now, you know, with, you know, pretty much everybody else taking a loss.
Right.
So it would have to be, you know, Salem would have to take a loss in order for that scenario to happen.
Okay.
So,
nice.
No.
Well, so we had some tough matchups in the beach. I'll touch on the Eastern District for it quickly. We had a battle of unbeatens between Maury, which is our number 1 team in the I-64 Sports top 5 poll. They hosted Churchland, 3-0 Churchland. Some people say surprisingly 3-0. This is high school football, so you never know how things can go. But we did have a battle of unbeatens. Maury dominated again, another dominant effort, another blowout. So Maury's definitely legit. They're taking care of business. But they did face a little adversity themselves. Like we talked about earlier, they had 2 guys that were suspended. One of them, Darian Varner, Temple commit, may end up being, not sure it would cost him against Norview, but definitely he was one of the players that were ejected against Churchland this past Friday. So, you know, you got a team like Norview who has a dangerous guy like, you know, Cameron Winterhill's one of the leading, I believe he's the leading receiver in the area right now, one of the touchdown leaders as well. You know, it could come back and bite you. It could not, but that's one of the little disciplinarian thing, you know, little things that could cost you when we talk about playing in big matchups.
Right. And
we talk about one of your defensive leaders, being suspended, ejected from a game. That's stuff you can't have in a big game. So,
and I think that's you know, we talked about a little bit, you know, before the show. I think that's one of those things where Coach McCain was, you know, not necessarily pointing out on the news, you know, when they interviewed him after the game, but he definitely brought up discipline, and being a championship level team, you know, where you got to have that discipline all the way around, no matter what the score is, no matter what the game is, you got to stay disciplined, and
not just breeze past Churchland as, you know, not a formidable opponent, but you know, when you're a team like Maury that just been steamrolling opponents during a regular season, you know the ultimate goal is to get that state championship. So you know that, you know, what you're playing for right now is not ultimately, you know, pretty much game by game, you're really looking towards the region playoffs, the state playoffs, even though you don't want to look too far ahead. You know that, okay, you know, at moments like this, you know, we got to keep things tight, got to keep the ship tight. So that was a good game. You know, we talked about the Smithfield upset, or if you want to call it that, upset win over Norview, 93 win. You know, there's a history there between those two schools recently. You know, Coach Chavis came over there for Smithfield and Norview. Of course, he's out at Norview now, so sure he's probably happy about that win. You know, he got players on both sides, but but you called it. You called it.
It's one of those things. Like you said, you know, on our pick'em, we don't really go through if a team's playing an out of area team or you know, out of state or whatever. So you know, so we had that kind of conversation of what to expect. Like I said, you know, I've seen the team play. Definitely, Mr. Hill over there is doing his thing. You got young quarterbacks and stuff like that. So it's a hard transition when you don't have that stability behind the center. You don't have the strong run game like we're normally used to seeing with, you know, Katron Allen or Kevin Marks Jr. You know, you had those guys. So you could depend on that safety blanket to, you know, get your quarterback going if your quarterback, you know, had a situation. But, you know, you used to having DJ Mack, EJ.
A lot of firepower.
EJ Faison, stuff like that. So yeah, that definitely, you know, was one of those things in the Eastern District. We also had, the showdown of the Peninsula, which I think sets up the Peninsula actual you know, champion. You know, we want to call it district champion right now while we're in this, you know, classification series. You had Hampton and Phoebus. On a Saturday, not even playing on Friday night, played on Saturday. Phoebus came out, you know, victorious in that.
Wasn't even close.
I mean,
that was surprising to me. You know, you had Hampton was unbeaten for one. Hampton was undefeated. Phoebus had take the season opening loss to Lake Taylor. So just about, I think 42-6. I mean, I wasn't expecting that at all.
I wasn't either.
I had someone on social media, shout out to Deontay Gray over on the Peninsula, but he was like, it's 20 point. It's not even going to be close. Phoebus going to win. So he called it. You know, I give him that. He called that too. So
yeah. And I think, like you said, that opening week, you know, loss to Lake Taylor in the fashion that they lost the game. You know, as close as it was, I think you can see, you know, where they at. And going into the season prep, because that was week 1, and now what they're doing in the Peninsula. So
what do you see? You think they're going to take the Peninsula?
Oh yeah. I think when we get to one of the tough games I had on my list this week for the pick'em, I think they got one more strong test left.
Okay.
After that, as long as they stay disciplined, go back to that word, as long as they stay disciplined, and I think Coach Blunt over there have them right and focused. I think they'll, once they get past that, they'll be okay.
A team on the peninsula I want to shout out, man. Tongue in cheek. I'm not gonna say tongue in cheek, but I didn't give them much credit after that loss to Maury. But Bethel has really responded after that week 1 loss to Maury. I believe they won 2 in a row. They won 2 in a row, so that's good. Hats off to those guys. I didn't give them much credit because I've seen them last year, this year. They didn't look too good.
Right.
Looks like they rebounded from their loss to Maury, and then just you look at how Maury took care of Lake Teller. You can't even really say that was a super bad loss,
right?
Because Maury's pretty much blown out everyone at this point. So
right.
I just want to give those guys a shout out. We paying attention to y'all too, man. We pay attention to everybody. So that was a great win. Now me, I didn't really have too many upsets from last week, so I kind of want to touch on some of our big performances. The first one was Rodney Hammond, who, that was my player to watch last week.
Yep.
My player to watch last week. I should have picked him again. Should have picked him again this week. Yeah,
can't do that.
Yeah, right. That's our rule. We can't pick the same player 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
But he faced Armstrong this past weekend.
Right.
6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
6 touchdowns. And I actually saw him. I saw him at Sportsplex yesterday.
Okay.
And he was like, "Yeah, I did that for you." No, I ain't really say that, but that would have sounded nice. Yep. But he was like, "Man, I'm coming." He's like, I'm coming for the State Player of the Year. He told me that. He's like, "I'm coming for the State Player of the Year award." It's like, that's something I really want. And they played Lake Teller this Friday, so he's just gonna look to put his stamp on that game. That's a game I'll be watching. I'll be watching because if he can get loose, hey, things can happen.
Right.
So that was one of my top performances. I don't want to mess his name up. But this is the new name, new face in the area. Hopefully I don't mess his name up too much. Zakai, I think it's Minga, Indian River's quarterback.
Oh, the quarterback.
Yeah, the quarterback for Indian River. Man, please correct me if I'm wrong, anybody from the team. But 217 yards, 4 touchdowns against Nansemond River, which was one of our games of the week last week. So that was a big performance. And I think he had all of this before halftime, if I'm not mistaken. So great performance. Zakai, again, if I messed up your name, please correct me.
Right.
But that was a great performance. And my last one, standing in the Southeastern District, Man Copeland from Oscar Smith. 5 touchdowns, over 300 all total purpose yards.
I've seen that up on the Twitter.
Man, that's a big one. That's actually a guy that we recently selected for the Legacy Bowl. Okay. So he also earned a Legacy Bowl selection along with Lamarian James from Indian River, a couple of other guys from the area. Hey, hats off to those 3 guys. And you may hear about them later when we go through our pick'ems and then our new top 5, I-64 top 5 for the week.
Matter of fact, let's get into that.
You want to get in that now?
Yeah, because I want to hear, before we get into the main topic today, I want to hear this list. I've been trying to hear it.
So listen, I wasn't prepared to go this early, so I'm going to go back to my notes real quick.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared. I told you, I want to know about this list this week after these games.
All right, so first of all, we'll review the top 5 from last week. We had Maury at number 1, Salem at number 2, Oscar Smith at number 3, Ocean Lakes at number 4, Indian River at number 5. So going to this week, we'll start from number 5. Ocean Lakes did drop out. They lost to Princess Anne, so they did drop out. So at number 5 this week, we had Phoebus. So Phoebus is number 5. They're 2-1. This is their first time in the top 5 poll. I think after the loss to Lake Teller, they've been able to bounce back, and especially with the win over Hampton, showed that, hey, we're still the top dog in the PD, and we're here. So I got them at number 5.
Okay.
At number 4, I got Indian River. So Indian River's moved up a spot. Good win against Nansemond River. Very good win. Nansemond River is a team that a lot of people expected to compete for state title, but looked at them as one of those dark horse teams. So that was a good win for River. So I moved them up to number 4. At number 3, I still have Oscar Smith at number 3.
Okay.
So I still have him at number 3. Now they have a big game this week that we'll talk about later. Big matchup with Indian River. But as of right now, I still had him at number 3. Good win over Hickory, but it's not really a meter mover, anything like that. Great win. Number 2, still got Salem. They haven't done much to change. They're still rolling consistently.
Right.
Now, last week, of course, when I put the poll out, it was Oscar Smith should be above Salem.
Right.
It's kind of like the first. A lot of people felt like that first game shouldn't have counted against Oscar Smith. I get it. Like I said, that there's no such thing as a good win, a good loss to me. Excuse me. So, they lost. So as of right now, I still got Smith number 3, Saylor number 2. Morey stays at number 1.
Okay, all right.
What you think about that?
I don't think I had no controversy with that list.
Okay,
I just wanted to know number 5. That's where the sticking point was last week, and I was just like I told you, like I texted to say, hey man, I'm curious to see this top 5 list this week. I want to know who number 5 is, but I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it this week. And,
I'm sorry.
And then next week, we got, since we have the Smith and River game. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be still watching that top 5 list.
Yeah. And like I always tell people, man, people always complain. Week by week, they complain about top 10, top lists. I said, guys, they always shake them things up, shake them things out throughout the season.
Correct.
So week by week, if you're looking for, we beat this team 2 weeks ago, by the end of the season, the top 5 or top 10 would be how it should be. So it's tough, but, we make it happen.
All right. Like I said, I wanted to get that out the way because I wanted to hit at number 5. I think everything else is going to stay the same from last week, so I just want to hit at number 5.
Gotcha.
So the topic for this week is commit and decommit.
We're talking high school or college?
High school commit, decommit from college. We have the what we call it, the player transport portal topic coming up later on, in one of the other episodes. But commit and decommit the college. And it's one of those things where I'm kind of torn with what's going on with the high school kids today, across the nation. I mean, we have a whole website dedicated to decommits, which, kind of brings the negative connotation to it, because the things happen.
Right.
But like I said, I'm kind of torn because I'm so used to, when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. When the coach puts your faith in you, you come to the college, you're going to do it. But on the other hand, we don't have that same integrity for the coaches. So, so now I go back and look and say, did the kid commit because of the coach? Did the kid commit because that's where they really wanted to go?
Right.
Did the kid commit because that was a school for them? And I brought this up last week when I talked about, talking to parents and parents' friends and stuff about, certain players going to college. It's like, why is the player picking that school to start with? Right? What was the reason for you to say I had 4 or 5 offers, but I chose that school? What was it that put that school over the top? Because you see it a lot today. I'm down to my top 4. I'm down to my top 5. I'm gonna make a commitment on X. NCAA's got the early signing now for football, and I think that was to curb some of this. I'm gonna commit, whether it's verbally, because that's what it is. I'm gonna commit verbally, and then all of a sudden, coaches flip a recruit, if they want to call it flipping.
Right.
So I think, the NCAA instituted that early signing period for football to try to get rid of that. Just get it out the way.
Right.
Football season's over. You go ahead and sign, as long as you stay eligible, you good to go.
Right.
And then the coaches will know, you are committed, and now I have to let you out in order for you to go somewhere else.
Right.
So I want to hear your take on that, that subject.
With me, man, look, I'm like my mom used to tell me, you ain't married. Like, you single till you're married. That's kind of how I feel about the whole recruiting thing. I think until these kids sign a letter of intent, I think they're free to decommit, commit, do what they do. Most of them, they choose the schools. Personally, I feel like they choose them because of the coaches. And like you said, there's not much loyalty from the coaches' standpoint. We've seen coaches take a job right before the recruiting cycle ends, or right before a kid signs, or even right after a kid signs. We've seen coaches change schools. So I feel like loyalty is kind of like where's the loyalty from either side?
Right.
It's nice to have, but I feel like a kid should be free to choose to do what he does until he signs on the line. Once you sign on the line, if your coach doesn't change schools, I think you should honor that commitment.
Okay, so I agree with that part of it. But my question to you would be, if the kid is free to choose, and it was about the coach, is the kid really making the right decision?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing. That's great. That's great that you said that. And a lot of times they're probably not, because we see a lot of kids, they'll choose a school, the coach will leave, they're stuck. Or, they'll choose a school to play for a certain coach and play in that system, and then when it doesn't work,
Right.
So there's, like you said before, like, why did the kid even choose a school? So what kind of options, what kind of things are we putting in place?
Yeah.
Why are these kids choose? Is it for the free gear? Because it's Nike schools,
right. Yeah, and then is it I don't as a parent of a former scholarship athlete, especially in the football area,
right?
When I talked to my older son about it, it was this college has been recruiting you the whole time.
Okay.
You have to make that decision. Whatever your options are, if nobody else is going to offer you a scholarship, no matter where you want to go at, these people have been here the whole time.
Right.
So I think on that aspect, if the coaches are still coming around, the coaches are, kind of, talk to the kids constantly, and you're eligible, you need to make a decision. Is that school right for you?
Right.
Is the situation right for you? Because a lot of kids I know from the area have never been out of the area unless it's a camp, right. 7-on-7
right.
or a travel team. They haven't been away from home. They don't know what it's like to be away from mom and dad. Waking up at 4 and 5, you going to football, going to class. They don't have that structure.
Doing laundry.
Right. They don't have that structure, right? So now when you in Nebraska, because you want to go play football in Nebraska, mom and dad can't get on the airplane and just come over there and tuck you in at night. You're on your own, so that football family you got is your family,
Right.
So it's one of those things when you want to, if you're going to commit and, and your values, as long as it's for the right thing, I can understand, coach, so to speak, promised you playing time or you thought that system was right for you. But then another coach comes in, and changes the whole thing. And you say, well, that's not right for me. The previous, triple option was what I was trying to play under. Now you come in here and run the spread. I'm not the spread running back.
Right.
I need to go somewhere else.
Right.
So I can understand that if you make the change for the right decision.
Right. But what is a binding commitment? Like when is it actual
letter of intent?
And that's the point we also get to, because is it a kid decommitted before he can even, like, let's say if he commits his sophomore year, his freshman year, sophomore year, it's not even a binding commitment.
Nope.
It's not even he doesn't have a binding offer.
Right.
Because that's what is it, July? I don't want to misquote myself. When did the offers become official?
What do you mean official as far as what?
From the schools itself. So, because, there's parents that listen, kids that listen, they think they get an offer in 8th grade.
So, technically the junior year is when it's supposed to be.
It's going into your junior year.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So, your junior year transferring, going to your senior year also.
Okay.
But because of the early signing period, now the kids have a little bit, I would say the kids have a little bit more leverage.
Okay.
Right?
And when exactly is the early
signing
period?
December, I think, is now for NCAA.
Your senior year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the kids have a little bit more leverage. And, as far as, getting it out of the way, and I think you're starting to see a lot of these kids press for hey, these are my top 4. I'm, really focused in on selecting a college.
Right.
Their visits. You're starting to see that a lot on Twitter now because it's football season. A lot of the official visits happen during football season. Hey, come to one of our games, hang out with some of the other recruits that we're recruiting.
Right.
Stuff like that. So, but again, when we talk about committing, if you have a verbal commit, that's not binding, right? Until you sign that paper.
There you go.
But again, what was the press for you to even have a verbal commit? Right. If you had the offers, there's nothing making the student athlete say, I'm committed to that university. Does it give the coach a warm fuzzy? Probably so.
Right.
But the other thing I think we forget is the NCAA does have a rule, as far as 4-year scholarships, right? Where colleges can do that. So that's in play. But normally your scholarship is year to year.
Yeah, right. 1 year renewable.
Right. So you have to understand also in that light that just because you signed on a dotted line and you got your scholarship, you got your freshman money, you red-shirted or whatever, the next year, still not guaranteed. So you want to make sure you make a commitment to something that you're really committed to, and maybe that they're committed to you.
Right. And maybe what kids are doing, maybe they're just trying to lock in their spots. Because, a lot of kids, like you said, they're pressed for offers, and they see so many kids nowadays putting their offers on social media, and maybe the same position, same caliber player.
Right.
Hey, man, I can grab my spot, before this kid grabs a spot, or there won't be a spot.
Right. And I can go with that. The problem is when you get that official paper, that allows you to sign, even if you lock your spot in, right? Nothing's binding, right?
Right.
So that university has no, has no obligation to say, you're the best athlete for us, even though you said you verbally committed, right? If I'm a defensive end and I got, again, let's go back to last week, you the 3-star defensive end, but I got 2 5-stars. Am I going to get 3 defensive ends to offer? Or am I going to, hey, 5-star is ready to come to us, give him the letter. Let's see what we can do with this guy. Will he walk on? Can we get him a partial? And that's, a part of the cycle right now. So, if you're trying to lock in your spot, I can understand. But remember, like you said, where's the loyalty? Right. If that university is true to you, I think you're good. But again, this is a $1 billion business we talking about. That's college football. That's $1 billion business. Right. And these coaches are getting paid. These universities are getting paid. They're trying to get the TV contracts and the sponsorships and all that good stuff that the players see. The Nike and Adidas and all of that stuff. So it's a business at the end of the day.
And realistically, we're talking about something that's not going to change. I mean, you're going to have kids that are going to commit, decommit. Yeah. But I think maybe moving up, we already have an early signing period. Maybe moving up even earlier, if that's possible, could help. Maybe allowing kids to sign as juniors if they feel like they're ready to. Maybe that will help. But I think when you talk about decommit, commit, there's going to be something that always happens. We see coaches change, and me personally, I think that's the number one reason kids commit to a school is because of the coach. Right.
And if that's the focus, we have to change that. We have to change that narrative because again, there's no loyalty in the coaching fraternity. So the kids need to be educated on all of the things that come with, getting a scholarship and going to a university, because there is no loyalty. Because once you do it, right, and you sign your national letter of intent, it's up to the university to basically let you out after that point, and we've seen in the landscape change over the last few years. There's some high profile players where, I'm committed to go to Alabama and now I'm going to Texas. Well, what happened? But again, if the student athlete is only committing for the coach that recruited them or the head coach, then we already have a problem.
Right. And then when you talk about these bigger schools, how long do these coaches really stay at these schools? You look at Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma. Is Lincoln Riley going to be at Oklahoma for a decade? Probably not. It's probably going to be in the NFL sooner than later. Yeah. So if a kid is committing to Oklahoma to play for Lincoln Riley in these next couple of years, you may want to rethink that.
Right. You may want to revisit that. And it's again, like you said, who's actually putting that information into the teenagers' ear, so they can process that information. Who are they leaning on to actually, talk to about this situation? Not just recruiting, but future. Because that's what it's about at that point. Like you said, if I'm a recruit and I'm wide receiver and I'm going to somewhere like Oklahoma, that's a spread offense and, air raid and all that good, terminology. And Lincoln Riley's not going to be there. Well, are they going to go back to the Barry Switzer days when it was option football? Now I don't get the ball. Right. You go, look at some things like prime example. I think Georgia Tech. Right. You don't see a lot of recruits going to Georgia Tech who are playing the wide receiver. Right. But then you go look and see that they've had some good wide receivers come out of Georgia Tech. Right.
And high draft pick.
Right. You're like, well, wait a minute, they run the triple, but these guys who play wide receiver who can really ball, they're gonna get drafted from Georgia Tech, right? It's one of those things like if you can ball, they will find you, right? So again, why are you going to that school? Why did you commit? Number one, and not saying that you didn't, that wasn't your choice, but you didn't have to verbally say anything besides, like you said, maybe now is if I don't lock in, they're just gonna take away my offer. Yeah, which does happen. We talked last week about taking away stars. Well, colleges take away your offer also. Like, yep, we offered you as a junior, we silent as your senior year. You're just not cutting it, or we got enough of those guys at your position where you're just at the bottom of the list. Yeah, you're just not there in your senior year. Your junior year, you look like a world beater. Your senior year, you're just average, you know, even in your area, nevertheless on a national stage, because, kids have to remember you're competing on a national stage when it comes to scholarships,
Right.
when it comes to this, to recruitment. So, if you're going to commit, you need to commit for the right, I would say for the right reasons.
Right.
So.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like another great. So where are we at with commit this week's topic? Are you, like I said, I guess you're not, can't say a fan of decommitting, but.
I'm not a fan of decommitting, but I understand in the process there are reasons to decommit. And as long as the player, because a lot of players don't say why they decommitted, that's not up for debate. You have your personal reasons, you have your the reasons to do it.
Right.
The player themselves needs to be the one to make that call and say, I decommitted because of X, Y, and Z.
Right.
But again, I'm a fan. If you're gonna commit and you're gonna verbally announce a commitment before signing day, just commit for the total right reasons, not just because of the coach.
Okay.
You want to do it for the right reasons and say, yep, that's what I'm sticking with. Because if that coaching change happens, are you still committed, or did you reevaluate and go, that's just not the situation for me anymore. I need to open it back up and go somewhere that I think is a better fit for me.
Right.
So I'm good with that.
All right, well, that's another good 757 field goal topic discussion.
Yeah.
And please, if you got any topics that you would like for us to discuss, or if you got any, anything you want to say, please you can shoot me an email, i64sportsinfo@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter, social media, YouTube. Leave us YouTube comment.
Yeah, and I think we got you sent me 2 this week.
Yeah,
we're gonna add to the list. And I think those are some two. It's three actual topics, but we kind of covered one already, and I don't think we're gonna rehash that. But it was two more good topics that came in this weekend.
And I want to shout out, before we move on, I just want to shout out Coach Paul Hudson, because he does always comment and share, and he likes the stuff, and he messaged me like, I look forward to the podcast, and so just want to give him a shout out. I know his son plays at Maury. I think he coaches with the Virginia Beach Mustangs as well. So hey, shout out Coach Hudson.
Yep. All right. Well, this week, Jamaar escaped on
man.
a pick'em. His picker, Indian River, saved him from having a tie. So he's up one game right now due to that game. So so Jamal's still up. He's got his belt. Right now, still hanging on for dear life with that one.
It's getting rough over here.
Yeah, one game up. So it's time for our pick'ems this week.
A lot of good ones this week.
Yeah. So let's start out. We got Maury versus Norview, and I'm a Norview alumni, but I got Maury.
Both of my parents are Norview alums. My nephew is a Norview alum. I am not. And Maury is averaging about 51 points a game right now. They won the last 5 games in this series. I think they're gonna make it 6 Friday night. So I got Maury too.
Okay. Over in Portsmouth, it looks like we got Norcom versus Wilson.
That's a pretty big one, man. I'm I teach over there in Portsmouth, live close to Portsmouth, so that's a big one. I think it's gonna be a big matchup. I don't think it's gonna be too competitive, but it's always a big matchup over there. So I got Norcom coming off the big win against John Marshall.
Okay. So here's one of the Peninsula.
You didn't pick yours.
I'm sorry. I got Norcom. I got Norcom. Good way to keep me in check.
Because I didn't want you to leave that out there, in case there was upset or something.
Yeah. So I got Norcom for that one too. So in the Peninsula, one of the battles, one of the teams you were talking about, we got Bethel versus Phoebus, and I don't think that Bethel can stand up to Phoebus, so I got Phoebus in this one.
Like I said, I had to give Bethel some a shout out because I didn't give them credit after that more the first game, but they played well. They've been playing well recently. But I got Phoebus, our number 5 team, continuing to keep things rolling. Okay.
Southeastern District matchup. We got Hickory and Deep Creek.
Deep Creek. Got Deep Creek in this one.
Yeah. At the beginning of the season, I thought maybe Deep Creek would have some trouble running the ball, losing running back. Mr. Evans over there to Nasma River. But it looks like they have a running back over there that I'm trying to keep an eye on. So I'm going with Deep Creek in this game.
And they've had some running backs the past 3-4 years. So
I think they're going to keep the ball rolling over there at Deep Creek, and I got Deep Creek over Hickory.
Okay.
This is probably the game of the week for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Indian River versus Oscar Smith.
All right, so this is the game of the week. This is a Saturday matchup, like most of these have been recently. And recently, going back the last few years, always been like 1 or 2 plays during the game that really been a deciding factor. Besides last year, Smith has been running this series, running the Southeastern District. River won last year. Some things I wanted to watch out for: 2 players, Indian River, Lamarion James, Oscar Smith, Man Copeland. Both teams have a lot of talent, but those are 2 guys that I think could go any play. They can score a touchdown. So I think that Smith is going to reclaim it this year. Personally, I got people on both sides, but I think Smith going to win it this year.
Okay. I'm definitely looking forward to the matchup, and I got Smith on
You
this
got
one.
Smith?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think would be the deciding factor or could be the deciding factor?
I think quarterback play.
Okay.
Because I think hate to say reload, but River lost a lot of guys on defense that were a part of that outstanding defense from last year.
Right.
You got Coach Chris Scott going to Smith and kind of, I don't say revamp, but it seems like, everything's clicking right now as far as him being a new coach and installing his stuff over there, the way he does things and way he does business. So I think the quarterback play is going to be interesting because, like you said, you talk about Lamarion James, who I've seen line up at slots, line up at a wide receiver, line up in a running back spot. But the quarterback, and you mentioned the quarterback early in the show for River, so. The quarterback play, I think, will decide the game.
Yeah, and the team facing a team like Smith, even if you're a talented guy, you're gonna have to face that pressure. What are you gonna do against that pressure? Same way you face a defense like Lake Taylor.
Right.
Smith is gonna hit you. It's gonna be a tough matchup. River does have talent. They have Antoine Powell on defense as well. So we'll see, but I think Smith gonna take it. I got Smith in this one.
All right. Eastern District. We go to the Eastern District. Churchland, who lost to Moore versus Granby. I think again, Coach Dontrell Leonard find a way to get the troops back up, back up on the winning mark, and I got Churchland on this one.
When the last time Coach Archie lost to Churchland? Probably been a while, right?
Yeah, because he was at Norcom. Yeah,
she's gonna lose this year.
Okay, okay.
I got Churchland. It's gonna be a struggle for Granby this year.
Okay, all right. We got Southeastern District, Grassville versus Lakeland.
I got Grassville.
You got Grassville.
I got Grassville.
I'm going with Lakeland.
Okay.
I'm going with Lakeland. See,
I'm going to go with Grassville because somebody told me to watch out for Grassville. So
okay. Yeah.
Hope they don't let me down.
Yeah, I'm going with Lakeland. Nazareth River, who just lost to Indian River, is going to be playing Great Bridge this week. And me, I think after the loss, I think Coach Conyers over there had him ready to go, rebound and show, the rest of the Southeastern District, if we did take a loss, but we're still here. Right. So I'm going with Nazareth River versus Great Bridge.
I got Nazareth too. I'm going to take Nazareth too.
Over on the other side of the water, we're going to have a good run here these next 3 games, it looks like, on my list.
Oh, yeah.
Gloucester versus Kecoughtan.
I met someone from Gloucester yesterday. Came through the gaming lounge yesterday. He loved it, enjoyed it. But unfortunately, I'm going to go with Kecoughtan.
Okay. From what I've read and seen on highlights, doesn't look like Kecoughtan has enough over there in the peninsula. I'm going with Gloucester.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie, I don't really know much about either team.
Right,
so,
right.
To be honest.
But I'm definitely going with
You might get me there. All right, you might get me there. You might get me in this next one too.
Warwick versus Heritage.
I don't know why. I'm just going with Warwick.
Okay.
I don't know why. Heritage let me down. I picked Heritage a couple weeks ago. They let me down.
Okay.
So I would go with Warwick.
I got Warwick. All right. Here's the matchup that I was talking about in the peninsula that could decide a couple of things, right? Hampton moved down in classification. I think Woodside also moved down this year in classification. But we got Woodside versus Hampton.
Woodside is always tough. Always a tough team. Pretty consistent team. Even on the bad years, they're usually like middle of the pack PD. Hampton, they're 3-0, lost to Phoebus. I'm gonna go. I don't want to change. I'm going with Hampton.
All right.
I was about to change them.
So I'm gonna go on air right now and tell you this week either Jabbar is just gonna blow me out, or I'm gonna take the lead because I'm going with Woodside this week on this one.
And I think you may take the lead. I got to get my PD knowledge up. I haven't been to a PD game this year. So.
Okay. Another Southeastern District, I think. Yep, Southeastern District matchup this week is Western Branch versus Kings Fork.
Western Branch won last week, right?
Yeah,
Church.
that was the game that you
I
lost.
sure did. I think Kings Fork is going to beat them.
Okay, I got Kings Fork on that one too. Here we go. We talked about the beach. Time for our beach run. Kellum versus PA.
Man, it's a lot of tough games this week. I'm really going back. Like I made these picks, and I'm thinking about going back and forth. I got PA.
Okay, I got PA too. I think speed wins out on this one.
Yeah.
Here's a tough one. Lansdowne versus Bayside.
Oh man, Bayside.
So Jamal's picked Bayside, coming off a loss against Kellum, and we had Lansdowne with their run since their opening week loss to Salem. I think Coach Tommy Reaman pulls this one out. And I got Lansdowne.
They probably do. I don't know why I don't know why I picked Bayside. But I'm going to roll with it. John White, you got to come through me, Coach White.
All right.
Come through for me.
Another beach matchup is Ocean Lakes versus Tallwood.
Ocean Lakes. You probably going Tallwood, though.
Me? No, I'm going with Ocean Lakes. I think after that, overtime loss against PA, I think it's, they're right to ship. And, Tallwood, coming off some losses there. So I think Ocean Lakes will be okay in this game.
Okay.
Got First Colonial versus Green Run.
I'm gonna go with Green Run.
Yeah, I think Green Run is got a little bit more speed over there than First Colonial, so I'm going with Green Run.
Okay.
Kentsville versus Salem.
Kentsville in the shock. Nah, Salem. I really want Kentsville to end the losing streak, but I don't think it'll come against Salem. Right.
Yeah, I got Salem on that one.
Okay.
And then the last one is our Eastern District, Lake Taylor versus Booker T.
All right, I got Lake Taylor, but I think Rodney Hammond's going to have another big performance.
Okay.
Just hearing from him yesterday, I think he's going to have another big performance.
Okay. I got Lake Taylor. I don't see the running back actually getting off as he's done previously. We'll see. You're talking about what did he have? He had a 6 touchdown game.
Yeah, he probably not.
And
probably,
then 240. Yeah, 242 to the next one. So but I do have Lake Taylor.
I think he'll get 100, at least 100 plus and 2 touchdowns.
Okay. All right.
I think he'll do that.
So speaking of fantasy players, I didn't see too much of the box score stuff. I did see some highlights. You had Kalon Black.
Yeah, I didn't. And like I said, I didn't see any box scores from him, so I'm not even sure how he ended up doing. But I know they won 40.
Oh yeah. He had there was the Green Run game, and he did have I know 2 long runs. One kind of highlight that they put on where he kind of broke a couple tackles in the pile, and it looked like the pile was just getting pushed, and then all of a sudden he broke out of there and off to the races.
Okay.
And then Malik Newton was my pick, and I saw he had a long screen about 67 yards.
Okay.
And went in for a touchdown, but I didn't see any real box scores or anything for those players. So this week Jamaar gets to pick his player first, since he always claims I steal his players when I pick first.
And the times when I do pick first, I never know who I want to pick.
Yeah.
I never know who I want to pick.
Nah, it's your first pick. I don't want to steal your player.
Nah, give me a second. Let me look through the matchups. A little behind today. Excuse my French. Excuse me. A little bit behind. I got somebody. Looking at the church in Granby. I'm going to go with my old Futures Classic alum, Kenny Gallup Jr.
Man.
You know why I'm going to go with him? Because I just saw him in the newspaper. He's coming off a tough loss. It's going against the Granby team. I think he's going to have a pretty nice day.
Yeah, I'm about to pass this paper over to you. You over here. I got Kenny Gallup's name circled on my paper. Being a good being a good steward of the game, you always gotta have your trusty backup. I'm gonna go with a guy that's gonna play against one of your favorite teams since we started the show.
Okay.
Mr. Evans over there at Nasmith River, the running back.
Yeah.
They're playing Great Bridge.
Yeah.
So that's who I'm gonna go with.
Okay, I got you
for my fantasy play.
Because I see a lot of tough matchups.
Yeah, I do too.
I think Maury will have a lot of success, but we've already pretty much picked every player. We picked
you have picked everybody. I picked CJ. You did.
What I pick?
But you had
Keandre.
You had Keandre.
Keandre.
So yeah, I think also I want to say Norcom's running back might.
DeMonte.
Yeah, he might. Yeah,
or the receiver, Prunty. But I don't know if he'll see a lot of targets. I don't know.
It's Wilson, so he may Dunlap may get off. But like I said, you picked Mr. Gallup over there. I had him on my list, and I'm going with the running back from Nasmith River.
Got you. So one more thing I forgot to add. I forgot to talk about at the beginning of the show. We're hosting our first ever, I-64 Sports is hosting our first ever 757 High School Basketball Media Day, Saturday, November 23rd at 21 Burgers Gaming Lounge.
Okay.
So that's be the first ever event, first ever high school media day in the area. We want to invite out all of the public, private school boys and girls team. So if you varsity, as long as you're a varsity team in the area, we definitely want to invite you out. What we'll be doing will be a pretty big press conference from all the teams. We'll invite the head coach, assistant coach, and the star player from each team. Bring them on out, do headshots, the whole nine. Still looking for sponsors, vendors, but it's going to be a nice day. We'll have an NBA 2K20 challenge. So, the kids love 2K. Ooh. So, like I said, we just want to do something to be able to, give everybody a chance to let the hair down, just have a good time before the season starts. There's enough banter on social media that, the kids bickering at each other, the coaches bickering at each other.
Right.
We just want to get everyone in the same place. Like, hey, man, let's just have a good time, enjoy ourselves. It is open to the public and it's free. So it's free and it's open to the public. Now the tickets are limited. So I'll, on the next show, I'll give the link to buy the tickets, but it is limited seating. So, but it is free. It's a free event. We'll have food there. Everyone have a chance to enjoy the video game. So, like I said, Saturday, November 23rd. It is open to all varsity boys and girls teams, public, private schools. If you want to RSVP, you can email i64sportsinfo@gmail.com. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to shoot us an email. But personally, I think it's going to be a great event.
Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds good. Let me see if I can make it out there, see what's going on out there with the basketball. Basketball not my thing, but I enjoy the game. I go get my popcorn and sit in the stands and watch some of those games.
Yeah, we can have maybe a special episode, from the event. Maybe we can work that out. Have a special episode from the event.
Okay.
And I know, like I said, again, I just want to shout out all the supporters, all the people that listen, they share, subscribe, and hit us up. There's a lot of people. One thing I want to start doing, and I haven't done throughout this time that I've, been in the game, I haven't shown a lot of appreciation to the people that appreciate what I do. So that's one thing I want to, slow down and start doing, and just really thanking people for supporting what I do, because it's a grind, and some days, some weekends, you don't want to keep going, because financially may not pay off, or, but you got to keep going, and people look forward to this podcast. I had people that tell me like, man, when Thursdays come, I look forward to listening to this. And
that's what it was when we missed that week. Like, what happened? Y'all,
absolutely.
Y'all stop? Is it over?
Right. So
like, no, it's not over. We did miss a week, but
we appreciate y'all, man, for rocking with us. And I had a conversation with my dad, and my dad, he works with a lot of people that's on social media, even though he's not. So anytime something goes on with me, he'll call me. Because he doesn't have social media, so he'll call me like, man, what you done did now?
Right.
So when I put out the top 5, a lot of people called.
Right.
And I was like, Dad, you know what? I used to get upset when people would, do stuff like that. But now, I appreciate that people even look forward
to it.
Yeah, they even look forward to it. And, I listen and, as long as it's not too crazy, I respond. I'm Katie, so I respond.
Right. Yeah, I let you respond. You tell me. I'm not responding to anything.
But it's all love. It's all love, man. All love. But yeah, please follow I64 on Instagram, I64_sports. Twan, please give your Twitter again.
I got at 7, the number 7 championships, and that's with a Z. Just like you see on the screen. But that's where we at on Twitter. And
I get your IG too.
And again, the whole thing is, if you have any topics, just let us know. Hit us up, and we appreciate all the fans and followers who just following and listening to the podcast and looking at it on YouTube.
All right, Jamaar Hawkins, I-64 Sports.
Antoine Corbin, 757 Championships.